Welcome to Make and Decorate, a podcast for makers who love to sew, quilt, and decorate. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Make and Decorate with Stephanie Socha Design. I'm Stephanie, and this is episode 7. All right, so first of all, I want to welcome any new listeners this week and welcome to the show. Also, thank you for those of you who have listened since episode 1. I really appreciate it, and kind of keeping track of the statistics to see, the growth of the podcast, and that's been really interesting and exciting. So, yeah, it's amazing. I can see that, several people in the UK, there's couple of people in Spain, Australia and Canada. So that's really exciting for me. I love seeing that big map of the globe and the little arrows pointing down as to how many listens were here and there. So anyway, thank you very much. And again, just a reminder, if you could please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, and also share it with any of your friends or anyone that might be interested in listening. So this week, I've got just a miscellaneous segment of some topics for recaps, follow-ups, and so forth. And then I will also talk a little bit about some fall decorating. So first of all, I hope you enjoyed last episode 6, where I had my 10-year-old niece, Ava, on. That was a lot of fun. And my sister just texted me this morning, actually, a picture of part of Ava's school paper. I guess she had to do a little report. And I'm not sure exactly what it was, but because I just saw a portion of it, but it looked like she was writing about the people in her life and how they encourage her and who's inspiring to her. So I made the list. She had a long list, and it was really cute. But I'm really glad my sister sent this to me, because I didn't really actually know that my niece really felt this way about sewing, and not only sewing, but sewing with me. So I'm going to read you what she said. Auntie Stephanie, she always is very kind and encouraging to me when I sew with her, and I don't like sewing without her. I feel lonely without sewing with her because she makes it fun. I mean, my heart was just so full when I read this for the first time. It kind of makes me just tear up a little. This is why not only do I sew, but that I have a passion for teaching, my niece to sew. And my other sister, who has a daughter, she's still in toddler age, but they really want her to learn how to sew too. And I'm just so excited. I just think that, with all of the arts that are in jeopardy in schools because of the budgets that aren't there to include them with, music, arts, theater, and, the woodworking and sewing and home dec and that sort of thing, not really being available for all the kids. It's really got to come from somewhere. So I really encourage everyone that if your kids or nieces, nephews have an interest towards crafting or, something that you do and you love to do, share it with them and teach them, because that's the only way our next generation is going to continue on with these arts so that they don't die out. I mean, you hear so many times, oh, this is a dying art, that's a dying this or that. And actually, For an example, there we were actually talking about the Brooklyn Bridge because a couple of weeks ago I met my cousin's, her new fiance, and he's a structural engineer and focusing in the area of bridges. And I was telling him how, I think the modern bridges are cool and they have some really nice sleek lines and so forth. And but I just really love those old bridges like the Brooklyn Bridge. It's just so beautiful. And he said that bridge would be so expensive to make today because of the labor and the artisanship, the craftsmanship, and the structural engineering that goes along with it. So, it's just, it's just trying to keep the creative and the arts alive is really something I think about a lot. So anyway, moving on. I also went to last week a sewing retreat that was local to where I live in the Chicago area. And it was the Sew Sweetness retreat with Sara Lawson. Sara Lawson, I talk about her a lot. So as you guys know, I love her patterns and I love her company. And she has been doing retreats for the last couple of years. And they're hard to get into because she limits the number of attendees to right around like 24, which I think is a really good number, so that it doesn't get too huge and crazy. But then again, it makes it harder to get a ticket when they go on sale. You guys know, whenever you guys go to QuiltCon and you sign up for those classes, those fill up so quickly. So, if you really want to get in, it's almost like you have to, plan ahead of time and, get the release time and date going and just make yourself available to be on that computer and do it. So anyway, I lucked out because I wasn't able to get a ticket when they went on sale, but someone was selling their ticket, almost at the last minute. It was a couple of weeks before the event, and it was just I found out about it early September. So I went for it, and I'm really glad I did. It was local, so I didn't have to splurge on the hotel cost, although I wish I did. But I drove in. It was only 10 miles away. But in city traffic, 10 miles means like 45 minutes of driving. But it wasn't so bad. I think the worst part of it was when they kept the sewing room open until midnight. And the first night I was there till about 11:30. And the driving home was not a problem, but it was the getting up early to get there before the next day's class started at 9 a.m. So that was just the hardest part. But anyway, this sewing retreat was really great. It was a 2.5-day event held at the Chicago Aloft Hotel, which was it was not in the inner downtown Chicago. It was on the outskirts by O'Hare Airport. And it was kind of like a small hotel. It's like a division of W hotels, modern in style. And the room that we had was great. It was a good size room, and they had the sewing table set up really well. I think we all had enough space because I have been at a retreat where we were touching elbows and was really tight spacing. So this one was great. There was enough electrical outlets. They had huge surge protector strips under the tables. No one ran out of outlets. And there was even some natural daylight coming in because there was a door at the one end of the room, and we actually even had to open it a couple times because between all of our hot air of chit-chatting, the sewing machine's humming, and these like halogen type lights beaming down on us, it got really hot in the room a couple times. So the menu was great. And Thursday evening, they did a welcome reception. So it was just a time just to get registered and kind of meet everyone, say hello, and that sort of thing. And then the workshop started first thing the next morning. So, and these are called workshops, and I didn't know, so I was kind of like a little shocked at how like the first day started, but I caught on and actually realized that this was actually a pretty good format for the workshop because, and then the second day, Sara Lawson was the instructor, and she explained why they do it in that format, which I thought was really good. She explained that when she first started teaching classes that, she had her step outs ready and everyone was on the same step at the same time. So if they were doing like preparing a pocket with a zipper, some people that were super experienced and quick and fast and speedy sewers would get done with it, and then they got on their phones and weren't paying attention. And then there were the other people who maybe have never made a bag before and needed a ton of help. And then it just kind of like, skewed the timing of even getting done with the bag at all through the day. So this format with the workshop is there's no formal instruction, but the instructors are on hand with all of their samples and step outs and so forth. And you've got the pattern in front of you and you just work at your own pace. And they're constantly going around. They're there to explain the next step to wherever you're at in the process, shows you exactly how to do what you need to do. And then the people who are, because, it's inevitable. There will always be people who are super fast and zip through things. In fact, the one person sitting next to me was that very person. So at first I was feeling a little kind of like intimidated, but then I realized that most of the room was kind of, more of the pace that I was at. And I'm not super slow, but I'm not super, super duper fast either, like this person was. So, you just, the other reason why you're there is so you can meet new friends and get to know people and do a little chit chats and stuff. So I did a little bit of that too, which is rare for me because in most social settings, I am not a chit chatty person. On this podcast, you're hearing me and I'm like blah, 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 chit-chatting and everything, but this is because I'm talking about a topic that I'm passionate about and that I love, and I can talk about sewing, decorating, crafting, all day. But, in regular life situations, it's not like that. So, there's not very many people who share the same interests. Sewing is a pretty niche type of a hobby and profession. So, yeah, otherwise, I kind of I'm much more shy and introverted when it comes to making regular conversation outside of the sewing world. So anyway, back to day one. So day one, there was a guest instructor, and her name is Celine Alleart. And she's from Toronto, Canada, and she also has a sewing pattern company and she designs bags just like Sara does. And her company is called Blue Calla Patterns, and the pattern that we did in her class or workshop was called the Boronia bowler bag. It's a really cute bag. It has 36-inch zipper that goes from one side of the bag all the way across the top around to the other side of the bag. And then there's a nice gusset that you make out of a couple of flaps that really gives it a wide opening, and you can fit a ton of stuff in there if you want to. But then it tapers at the top. So it's a really nice shaped bag. And this pattern is also designed to be partly done out of cork fabric and fabric. So the bottom part of the bag is done in the cork, which is nice because cork fabric is like a faux leather or a vinyl. Cork fabric is natural cork. It's really nice. It's just very nice and easy to work with too, to sew with, because vinyl can get really sticky with your sewing foot. And when sewing with cork, you don't even need to put a vinyl, a Teflon sewing foot on most of the time when you're sewing with cork, versus vinyl's really sticky and you definitely need to put a Teflon foot when you're sewing with that. So yeah, that was a more complex bag. And I'm so used to the So Sweetness patterns, and there's a specific type of style in making Sara's bags that we're all used to. Those of us who, sew, a lot of her patterns. So this was the first time that I did a pattern from Blue Calla. And of course, it's written a little differently. It has a different style and tempo to the rhythm of making it. And at first, and I was not the only one, there was a couple of other people like, oh, this is so different. What do I do? But as you worked through it, it was good. It was fine. And at the end of the day, I was like, we learned a few new techniques of how to do the same thing, which is good because it's nice to know that more than one way to do something. And there definitely is a million ways to do a single thing. So that was great. And one of the things I'm talking about is, for those of you who have sewn bags before, when you box the bottom of a bag, that's when you kind of take the bottom and it makes like a little bit of a point, like a triangle, and you sew across that triangle, and then it makes like a straight line, and it gives the bag some depth based on how far in you sew. Well, this was that technique, except that you boxed the lining at the same time as you did the exterior bag, which also had a layer of foam on it. So there were a ton of layers. And when you do this, you do have to be pretty precise. So I've never done that before. And one of my sides came out great. And then the second side I did have to rip out because a little bit of the foam was peeking through because the cork had slipped. So I learned that you really have to clip it really well because the cork does have a tendency to move. And in fact, I might even have next time, if it didn't work out the second time, I was going to put some double stick Wonder tape to keep that cork held in place. It's not go anywhere, but it worked out. It was just a pain trying to get all the stitches ripped out from all of those layers. But that was it was a new technique, and it was the most challenging part for me for the bag. You would have thought that maybe the zipper would have been, the hardest part, but it wasn't. So that was a great first day, and the 23, I think there were 23 attendees altogether, and it was really a perfect amount. Everyone really got to know each other, and I've been at other retreats where you don't get a whole lot done, and there's just a lot of stuff going on and chaos, and some people are there to sew and some people aren't. Well, this retreat, everyone was there to sew, and everyone was there to get their projects done, and that was really cool. I loved it. But at the same time, it wasn't silent in the room and we're only focused on this. It was just a really nice balance of, talking and chatting and sewing at the same time. And It was just so pleasant. It really was. So I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And then in the evenings, I wasn't sure, like going into this because I went there really not knowing anyone. So I thought that maybe I would just kind of like close up shop and because the class or the workshop ended at 4 in the afternoon. However, you could keep sewing and you could be in there till midnight if you wanted to. And some people did stay in there not many, maybe like 1 or 2 people stayed in there the whole time. But the rest of us actually went out as a group and we went to dinner. So that was really great. So, in fact, we did it both nights. So that is how fast everyone got to know each other and became friends. And I met people, like from all over, from Canada. And I was very familiar with where they're from because my sister-in-law currently lives right in that same area. So we had a ton to talk about. And there were some people from the East Coast, a few people from Pennsylvania and Florida, a couple of people from my own area, Chicago. So that was cool. Sat right across from someone that was only lived a few miles from the venue. So that was great. And the person next to me too, she was from just a couple towns over from me. So it was great. And then on day 2, Sara Lawson did the workshop and we made one of her newer patterns called the satellite bag. This bag is so cute and it's very useful. It is a crossbody bag that looks like a little messenger bag. But it's not too small and it's not too big. It is literally like the perfect size, I think. And I've already used it several times because when I go walking with my dog at the end of the day, I like to just be hands-free and I don't want to be, you got to put your phone somewhere and you got to put the doggy poop bags somewhere and a little treat. So, I just toss it into my my satellite bag and put it over my shoulder and I can walk him and just be completely hands-free and it's wonderful. I love it. And plus it's so cute because it's in a cute Tula Pink fox fabric from her Chipper collection. So that was great. And that bag was really not that difficult to make. There was a need to try it, to get it done before, because they were doing a group photos right after the class. So I was furiously trying to get that done. And then, of course, the speedy, prolific person next to me was like, give me your lining pieces. And so she sewed my lining pieces together and I was able to get it done. Yay. So that was great. And the retreat overall was wonderful. And I highly recommend it. However, they're not doing retreats next year. So that was another reason why I really wanted to get onto this one, because I knew she was not, just kind of like taking a break from it. Not that they're not ever going to do one again, but definitely next year they're not going to be doing a Sew Sweetness retreat. So, but you could still get your Sew Sweetness fill on. She's got some live shows that she does every week, Sara Lawson. So check it out. Check out Sew Sweetness and also check out Blue Calla Patterns because she's got some really cute bag patterns. Celine does. So that was the Sew Sweetness retreat. All right. And by the way, the speedy lady next to me was wonderful. She had taught home ec for a number of years, and she currently does a lot of charity quilt sewing projects, and she is truly, a very well-experienced, advanced sewist, quilter, bag maker, extraordinaire. So I learned a couple of actually cool tips from her. And, when you're sitting around people that are better than you, it's always good to just absorb, like I like to do that, absorb like a sponge. And she was more than willing to teach and to show me a couple of really cool just insider tricks and tips on sewing. So I really appreciated sitting next to her. So I did, of course, day one, you don't really know anybody very well, so you're just starting to get to know people. And she was well already into several of the steps of the first bag before the workshop even began. So I was like, oh boy, I don't know. I'm a little intimidated, but not to worry. She was wonderful, sweetest person. And I really enjoyed sitting next to her. In fact, I enjoyed everyone, not only at my table, but in the entire room. And how many times can you say that? That's what was so unique about this retreat. I just can't say that enough. Even though, our little community of sewing, quilting, and bag making generally is that. I mean, hey, we're nice people, right? And we support each other's, creative makes and accomplishments and cheer each other on. So, yeah, I love that. I really absolutely love that about our community. So that was great. And the retreat overall was wonderful. And I highly recommend it. However, they're not doing retreats next year. So that was another reason why I really wanted to get onto this one, because I knew she was not, just kind of like taking a break from it. Not that they're not ever going to do one again, but definitely next year they're not going to be doing a Sew Sweetness retreat. So, but you could still get your Sew Sweetness fill on. She's got some live shows that she does every week, Sara Lawson. So check it out. Check out Sew Sweetness, and also check out Blue Calla Patterns, because she's got some really cute bag patterns. Celine does. So that was the Sew Sweetness retreat. The next thing I'm going to update you on is I have a YouTube channel. I just started it, so there's only 2 videos up right now. But I encourage you to go check out my YouTube channel. It's under my name, Stephanie Socha. The first video I have is on making a swaddle blanket tutorial. And the second one I just uploaded yesterday, and it is... I named it a vlog because it's not a tutorial. It's just I did review the Sew Sweetness retreat, and it's not going to be the same information that I just gave you, but I show you all the stuff that I got from her pop-up shop. I show you photos of all the product, all this rainbow candy yummy goodness. And I show you the bags I made, show you the patterns, show you some tools. So that's on there. And then I also did an unbox of my very first FabFitFun box. FabFitFun has been around for a little while, and some of you may even have your own subscriptions. I love watching unboxings of these on YouTube. I've been wanting to do this. I don't know why I waited so long, but I think I wanted to see like a full year of other people's boxes from them before I decided to kind of jump in and do it. What this is a subscription box, but it is only 4 times a year. So it's seasonal to the seasons: fall, winter, spring, summer. I love that because you don't go broke, signing up for this subscription box. And you get a good mixture of things that are not just one particular, type of product. So I guess essentially you're supposedly getting like at least $200 worth of product for $49. And for your very first box, you get $10 off. So I only paid $39 for my first box. That was the fall box. The other thing I liked about this box is that I could choose some of the items that go into it, which I really love, because on some, this kind of has made me not sign up for certain other subscription boxes, like for the quilting or sewing subscription boxes, because a lot of the times I already have the notions that they put in there, and the fabrics, I don't know. I just, I haven't seen one yet where I'm like, yes, I would love getting those types of fabrics all the time. So I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a control freak with the fabrics, but I think there are a couple out there where they might give you a choice of which type of fabrics you would like. I'm not sure. Maybe, I think I saw this in Fat Quarter Shop's box, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, back to the FabFitFun. So that's on the YouTube video, but I'll just talk about it real quickly here. You get product that's either like, kitchen essentials. Like I got this real cute little teapot, hand towels. You can get beauty products, skincare, and fashion products. They will have jewelry, scarves. I got a tote bag, this black vegan leather, which is a faux leather tote bag for Vince Camuto brand. It's really nice. So take a look at the YouTube video to take a look at it. But and then there was like some skincare stuff in there as well. So I was really very pleased with my first box, the fall one. And I'm looking forward to being able to pick out what I want in my upcoming winter box. So that is a thumbs up for me. And then another one that it's not, it's a subscription type of a thing, but it's more designed after, if you've ever gotten one of those Blue Apron or, the meal subscription boxes where they send you the ingredients and then you have everything you need to make like a nice dinner. You don't have to go shopping for it, that sort of thing. But then you can skip, weeks if you need to. That's what this one is designed similarly towards, and it's called Grove Collaborative. And this one was completely like a what is the word I'm looking for? Impulse buy. That is what this is. It's called Grove Collaborative, and it was a pop-up ad in my Instagram feed. Yes, they got me. They got me hook, line, and sinker. Grove Collaborative is a subscription service for natural products. So they've got all of the Meyer brand products like the hand soaps, dish soap, laundry, paper towels, toilet paper, and they've got a whole bunch of other brands, seventh generation, that sort of thing, products. And the initial, I guess like the special that they were doing was they gave away 4 or 5 full-size products free with your first order. This was such a great deal. I got like a huge box, well, not huge, but I got a good sized box of product, and it was only around $25. Plus there was, there wasn't shipping. Sheesh. Yeah, so they were giving away a free 60-day VIP, which meant free shipping. And I think it's like a $20 minimum. That's not so bad. So I got a glass bottle, spray bottle, and it had the little silicone thing on the bottom so it didn't break. That was one of the freebies. A full-size dish soap was a freebie. Another full-size something. Laundry, I think the laundry soap was a freebie. So, 4 or 5 of those. And then I added in, because I love, the Meyer products, and there were a couple of other things I tossed in there, but I mean, it came like within 2 days. So, and I kind of did this, and I knew, that I could cancel it at any time because it said that. So I didn't even know what I was signing up for, which is terrible. But I just took a closer look at it today and found out that it is a monthly subscription, and you got to check out your cart because they will fill it with the stuff that you previously ordered. So for those people who want to get the same thing every month. But then I looked into it further, and like a Blue Apron or a HelloFresh, you can skip months. So I really like that because I don't really need to order cleaning supplies every month. And it's not just cleaning supplies on this site. It's health and beauty. There's candles, there's pet stuff and kid stuff. So there's a lot of stuff on there, and the pricing is really good because normally a Meyer's hand soap is about $4.99 in the stores unless it's on sale, and their price is $3.89. So anyway, this was kind of like a cool little discovery, and I am looking forward to seeing how it goes. Okay, so let's talk about some fall decorating. We're at the time of the year where everything is moving indoors because summer is over, the weather is getting cooler in most of the northern regions, and we're now starting to think about the upcoming holidays that are right around the corner. Some people do a lot of entertaining and hosting, and what's really nice is if you can get like a little makeover for your dining room or foyer or powder room, whatever. The biggest way to make the most impact is with paint color. And it's not really that expensive, and you can really change the whole look of a room just with the paint color. So I'm going to talk about paint. I think I've narrowed it down to the 3 things that give people the hardest times in making decisions on. And that is quality, finish, and color. So when I talk about quality, I mean the quality of the paint that you buy. Most of the hardware stores have that, entry-level line of paint. But then what a lot of people don't know about is that there's usually a mid and a higher range of that paint line. So I would definitely bypass that lowest entry-level line of paint because you'll really, if you're going to invest the time, if you are painting yourself, you're not going to want to spend more time trying to get the coverage you need from these paints because usually they're much thinner and don't have the coverage, and just the quality is just not there. So start with a mid-range level of paint. And by that, I mean, I'm going to talk about the paint that I am most familiar with and what most people end up painting with is Benjamin Moore. Benjamin Moore has just, every color in the world. They have several different lines of paint. They even have a low base level, which please don't do that. Definitely, I use their mid-range level a lot, and it's called the Regal Select. It is not too expensive. It's not very expensive, and it's definitely worth the investment, and you will get a good performance, good coverage from this paint. So that is the quality that you should strive for. So no matter what brand that you get, whether it is a hardware store, I know Lowe's has a brand called Valspar, and that is definitely a good line of paint. Just make sure you get the mid-range quality of their paint. And so then going into finish, there's different finishes of paint. And this is another area where, many people don't know enough about, and that is the finish. So if you've ever moved into a new home that had kind of like contractor grade construction in there for the contractor just put everything into the house, a brand new house, and sold it. The walls on the paint on the walls generally scuffed up right away on you, and you probably had to paint very soon after moving in. That is because most of the time contractors will just use flat finish paint. Flat finish paint is quick, easy, covers up all the flaws of a wall, and it's just they prefer that's like the easy button. But it is not good for, busy, high traffic areas where little fingerprints are going to get on them, or they're going to get nicked with bags. Anything that touches a flat finished wall, paint finished wall, will mark it up. So you are going to want to have at least an eggshell finish, and this finish is Benjamin Moore term. So other lines of paint, I think a lot of them do go by eggshell, but some of them won't. So what you have to find out is eggshell is just a certain level of sheen, and it makes it washable. Even scrubbable. And it's not like a high gloss, so it's not going to be super shiny. It's just going to have a little touch of a shine, but you're going to be able to wash it, wipe it down, scrub it if you need to. And this is where on the entry-level paint lines, you will not be able to scrub because you will be rubbing the color right off your walls. Benjamin Moore, Regal Select, and Eggshell, you will be able to wash it, soap and water, scrub it, and it will hold up beautifully. So if you have, let's say you have a nice formal dining room and you want like that museum quality flat matte look, there is a paint in Benjamin Moore that is called Regal Matte. And it is a washable matte finish. I still would not use it in super high traffic areas. But for a room like a dining room, I would definitely put it in there. And you'll get a really beautiful matte finish in there. And you won't have to worry about someone bumping their bag into it and making an indelible mark. So it just depends on what areas. And if you're in a kitchen, some people even bump that finish up to like a satin or a pearl finish, and those definitely get a little bit shinier, but they will hold up like you wouldn't believe, and they will be so wash and scrubbable and easy maintenance. But overall, eggshell will work. So that is, and the finish too. So on ceilings, you definitely can paint ceilings a flat finish, and you kind of want that to be flat. So that's one surface in a room where you do use the flat color. So sometimes people will get paint and they're gonna paint the walls and the ceiling all the same color. Well, you really probably will want to get a different finish for the ceiling, flat for the ceiling, and eggshell or Regal Matte for your walls. And then, of course, for your trim, that's even going to be a different finish. But usually that trim and doors are going to be a different color anyway. So your trim and your doors will definitely look nice in a satin or pearl finish. And it's going to be much more heavy duty with all of the hands and handprints and action that it sees on a daily use. So those are the finishes and color. So color is definitely always a quandary for people. And I see this just in all my years working in interior design and with people that generally are very afraid of color. Because, sometimes too, when you have an initial change of color, your eyes are not used to it, and immediately you make a snap judgment and you're like, oh, I don't like it. Oh my gosh, what did I do? Well, before you do that, you've really got to just take a breath and live with it. Live with that color before you're like, oh, nope, paint it back. I want it all white again. Live with that color for a week or at least a couple of days, because it just takes a little bit of time to get used to it, because it's just walls are floor to ceiling. So, it is a lot of surface. And so you just have to give your eyes time to adjust. But with that said, talking about color, I would love to see more walls with color on it. We've been in this gray zone for, at least 5 years now. And I love gray. I love the color gray. But, enough of the gray. Gray on the walls, gray on the furniture, gray on the rugs. Where is the color? We need some color. There is truth to the psychology of color. It really does affect our moods and the way we just our feelings. It can elevate or diminish your mood. That's why sometimes, and especially with us that are, crafty makers and quilters and sewers, we react to color even more so. We know what colors make us happy and what colors that, we absolutely don't like. One of my favorite colors is purple, but I have seen several people that are just vehemently like, ew, purple, gross. So it's a very personal thing. But, you just consider color on your walls, especially if most of your furniture and your flooring is a neutral. And it doesn't have to be like a bold, dark, strong color. But, even just like stray away from the gray and put like an off-white or a creamy white on the walls. It's warm. That is a nice color, and it's still neutral. And you can still have, it makes a nice background if you have wall hangings or quilts, art quilts, artwork. And if you're still afraid of color, try, there's a color, and I've specified it a few times, and actually my sister did it in her house. It's gorgeous. It's Benjamin Moore 925. That is a very nice creamy white. It doesn't read too yellow, and it doesn't read too white. It doesn't have any tints of, it's just a nice, just a neutral cream. And it looks white, really. You look at it and it looks white, but it's a warm white, like an off-white. So if you're, still afraid of color, maybe try that. And if you're going to go for some color, do color. It doesn't have to be dark. It could still be a light color range of, a blue or a green. Sage green is coming back again. That was really like the color about 18 years ago. It was all about the sage green, and that actually is a pretty nice color. It's got the sage has a good amount of gray in it, so I think that's why it has become popular again, because I think that people are starting to get a little weary of gray everywhere. But again, I have nothing against gray. I love gray, but I like a balance of color accenting or filling the space, with your neutrals. So that is, those are some alternatives to gray. And also another thing to consider is your trim color. I know lately, especially since that one HGTV show, can't think of the name of it, but you guys know, the Joanna Gaines show. I think they started doing a lot of the black window interior trim around your doors. And that's really cool too, especially if you did do a creamy white color. And then if your trim was a charcoal or a black, that would be a nice contrast and you would add some depth. And the one thing that a darker trim color does is when you're looking out of a window, it just kind of recedes and it brings the outdoors in more without noticing a frame of white around it. So that's kind of like a nice thing with a deeper trim color. And let's see, what else? Color. Oh, here's another thing too. The apps that you take a picture of your room and then you pick these colors on, they're okay. But again, anything with a computer generated color on a photograph, on a computer screen, on a phone screen, is not going to give you a true representation of the color. So I think that you should invest the $2 in a little sample pot of paint. Paint a foam core board, like a big piece. I'm talking like a 20 by 30 inch piece. That little sample pot will paint the whole thing and then some. And put it in the room that you want to paint and move it around and look at it at all different times of the day. When it's sunny and in the morning, on a cloudy day, in the evening, especially a color like a sage green, that is very complex. That color can change to a completely different color just with the movement of the sun or, the difference between daylight and dark, in the evening. So do that, and I think you'll get a much more accurate idea of that color and in a larger format too. So those are some of my tips to help you choose color. Oh, and one other thing with the color. Just narrow it down to like 3 options. Do not give yourself 10 to 15 options of color because it will be impossible for you to edit and narrow down to that one color that is the perfect one. So let's say if you are looking for a blue color, don't pick out 5 shades of blue that are around the same color of blue. So choose the level of saturation that you want. Like for instance, if you wanted like more of a robin's egg blue, then choose the light. The robin's egg blue is a little bit more on the light level of saturation or color. It's light, not a medium tone or a dark tone. But, choose like 2, maybe 2 to choose from. Don't choose like 5 or 7 or 10 around the same color. And if you are deciding between a couple of colors, do the same thing. Just pick one of 3. If those don't work, the way that you could really narrow it down is think about it as cool and warm colors. Every color has a cool and a warm, spectrum that it can go into. So like a robin's egg blue it can be pretty warm if it has more green in it. Like a Tiffany blue has a lot of green in it. But another color range that people can call robin's egg blue could be more of an aqua blue. So that would be cool. So most of us kind of know whether we gravitate towards warm colors or cool colors. So when you're doing that, look more towards those type of shades of the color that you want. So hopefully that makes sense. I could just talk all day about colors. I love color, and as much, I guess, as I love fabrics. So good luck with your paint colors, and I hope that this helps you ease the process and that you're able to pick a color out and make a decision much quicker and easier so that you can spend more time sewing. Yay. All right. And then there's one more thing. I do want to talk about a line of paint. It's very high end, and they've been opening up retail stores in the United States. And there's one, I know there's a couple actually in the Chicago area. It is called Farrow and Ball, Farrow and Ball, Ball, F&B. This is a paint company out of the UK, Dorset, England, to be exact. And this paint is about, it's definitely over $100. I don't know if it's I think it's $125 a gallon. I know, it's a lot. It's, especially if you need like 5 gallons to paint a, double story or vaulted, ceiling room. But I think, you should check it out. You can go to their website. They've just introduced 9 new colors this year, and they are sending out free color cards with their little swatches of every color in their collection, and including these 9 colors. And there's an interesting thing they did with this color card. It's a double layer, and there is a really pretty kind of like a butterfly insect sort of drawing or sketch on the back. You can scan it, and it'll come up. You have to scan it with a specific app. I think it's called Blip Art app. Blippar. Blippar app. I did that. I downloaded it. I scanned the back of this color card, and it came up with these 9 new color introductions. They showed beautiful inspiration rooms that were painted with all of these colors to give you some ideas. And there are also videos for each of the colors, and they talk about how these colors were inspired. I have not watched all the videos yet, but I think that is pretty cool. And I love it. I love this line of paint. It is actually different than all of the other paints that are available here in the States because it is made from actual organic compounds, like clay. We're talking about a clay-based paint with clay pigments is what I'm trying to say here. And the depth of color is like none other. I mean, you can get a lime white that has such depth. You can't, there's just something about it. And you're just like, wow, this looks like such a natural stone color. It's just beautiful. And then they have some other colors. They have some beautiful blues and grays. And oh, here we go with the gray again. But, they're beautiful. So, take a look at it, and you can get your free color card. And if anything, that color card will give you some little paint swatches with ideas on colors. And they have different labels of finishes. So when I was talking about eggshell, their terminology for that is different. I think it's called modern estate eggshell. Their modern emulsion, I believe, is the flat finish. You don't want that because that like marks up with any little touch. So anyway, take a look at this and let me know what you think. Let me know what colors you guys are painting your rooms. All right, so have fun with your fall decorating and interior makeovers. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Next week, I have a special guest on, Sara Clevenger, and she sews mostly clothing, apparel, and she's wonderful. She is actually formally educated in fashion design, so I'm really excited to share that episode with you guys next week. So have a great day and, enjoy living your best creative life. Wow, that sounded really Oprah-esque there. Live your best creative life, but it's true. Do live your best creative life and have fun. And I leave you with this creative quote to get you through the rest of the week. Life is a great big canvas. Throw all the paint on it you can. By Danny Kaye. Thanks for listening to the Make and Decorate podcast with Stephanie Socha Design. Come find me on my website at stephaniesochadesign.com and check out the show notes page. Post your comments, send me an email, let me know what you're up to and what questions you might have. I'd really love to hear from you. Toodles, until next time. Bye.